everyone and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is Nicole and I am a part-time reseller on Poshmark. Today I wanted to talk about 5 reasons that you should shop secondhand if you haven't already been doing that. I think it's really good for the environment and there's a lot of other benefits that people don't really think about, and I think shopping secondhand sometimes gets a really bad rep, but I think it's something that we should all consider. And so I wanted to talk about the 5 main reasons why I think it's important to do so and why it would be beneficial in this video today. If you like this video, please feel free to like and comment down below, and also subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more reselling content that I do. I put out weekly videos, all things reselling. Sometimes I do unboxing, sometimes I do reviews of, mystery boxes, and sometimes I just do tips and tricks on all things reselling. So if any of that interests you, please subscribe for more and check out my playlists of the different content that I have. And yeah, let's get into the video. First reason that you should shop secondhand is your money is staying in the community. You're supporting other local people that are trying to start small businesses, or that are trying to have a small business where they are selling secondhand clothing. And so your money is staying within the community. So if you are also a reseller, this is even better because you have other people that are supporting you that want to shop secondhand. So it's just the cycle that repeats itself. So I think this is a really good thing to think about, because the money that you are spending is then being spent on supporting your business, as opposed to if you support a big business that's not really in your community. You don't really know where that is going and what it's being used for. So I think if it's staying within the community, it's a lot easier to kind of connect with it. The second tip, and this one might be more obvious than the first one, but it's more affordable to shop secondhand than it is to buy new items. Sometimes retail value of items can just be really expensive and it really adds up quickly. You could buy a top and it can be close to $100. It's like, how can a top be that expensive? But when you shop secondhand, you're gonna get a discount. It's gonna be a lot cheaper than that, and it's a lot more affordable, and a lot of us can't afford to be buying tops for that much every time. And you can get a whole outfit and it's so much cheaper than buying it from a store. And so I think shopping secondhand to be more affordable is so much better, especially in this economy. Everything, prices for everything just keep going up and up. I don't even want to talk about gas prices right now, just ridiculously high, but everything is going up and clothing is going to go up over time. So when you shop secondhand, you can get a good deal. And a lot of people that are resellers are sometimes just looking to give people a good deal. I know my closet myself, I try to be really reasonable, and especially if I have something that is secondhand that is not new with tag, I try to really make that price lower. Most of the time I do less than 50% off the retail value. It just depends on what the item is. But it's so much more affordable to do this, and it makes so much more sense in this economy to buy secondhand. The third reason that you should shop secondhand is it just slows down consumption and limits waste and minimizes it. There are so many clothing pieces that get filled into landfills, or that goes thrown out, or whatever the reason is, and a lot of the times they don't take the time to actually fix a piece if there's a stain on it, or if there's a hole in it, they don't fix it, or they kind of, if there's a stain on it, they immediately want to throw it out. There are so many ways that you can kind of DIY and give clothing a new life. And so you can kind of make it into something new, or you can, clean the piece, or you can sew the piece. And so this will stop the waste. And I think that is so important, because you would be really surprised how many pounds of clothing end up in landfills every year. And I think it's only getting worse and worse. And some of the times they don't even make it to the landfills. And it's so sad, because there are so many pieces of clothing that deserve a second life out there that aren't getting that. And so consumption goes up when you buy from a retail store, and a lot of the times it's just going to waste. So I think this one is really important, and this one will just help save the earth as a whole. And so I think it's important to do that, because we want to slow down the waste, we want to slow down the consumption, and we want to just, save some money too. Okay, so the fourth reason that you should shop secondhand may not be so obvious, but you can kind of come up with a unique sense of style, and you can try pieces that you probably wouldn't have wanted to try before. And when you buy secondhand, you're buying at a discount, like we talked in the previous tips. And so you can buy things and you won't feel as bad if like it's not really your style, or you know, you won't be investing a lot into them because it's going to be cheaper, as opposed to buying it from a store. And sometimes return policies are kind of crazy, or it's like hard to return things, and so you end up with these pieces that you're never going to wear that cost a lot of money. So, and you don't know if you're going to like it or not, so you kind of stick to your same style. But when it comes to buying secondhand or buying at like a thrift store or something, you could pick up pieces that you probably wouldn't have picked up before and try new things and try to see if they would fit your style, or if you want to change your style. And the good thing is with this too, you can kind of switch up your style, like with when there's new trends out, if you want to try something that's really trendy, and you're not going to have to invest a lot to do that. And I know like the trends are hard to keep up with because they change all the time. And I know like the beginning of the year it was like the color green, and like there's just so many other things that are really trendy that like don't stick around very long. So you don't want to buy, you know, very expensive pieces because you're not going to keep them around for a long time, especially if it's like a really particular trend. So buying secondhand is good because you're not going to pay a lot for it. And then you could also, you know, give it a third life after that and resell it. And then it keeps going. The cycle just keeps repeating itself. The fifth reason, this one's just more for fun, but it kind of feels like a treasure hunt to just search for like new things and to buy secondhand. I don't know, whenever I go to like thrift stores or Goodwills, or at least whenever I used to before I really started reselling, it was always just so interesting to me like what I would find. You never know like what's gonna be in the thrift stores and like where it's coming from, or like what the reasoning behind it is. And even when you buy like mystery boxes online, or like when you go on Poshmark and you're just like searching around, there's so many different things out there, you never know what you're gonna find. And sometimes you can find gems and it's like, wow, why didn't I find this earlier? But when you go to stores, you know exactly what you're looking for and you know exactly what you're gonna find. You know like the styles they have, you know that the type of clothing they have, you know like what you're going to find. But when you go to the thrift store, it can literally be anything. When you go to a Goodwill, it could be anything. So it's more like fun, and it's like, you don't know if you're gonna find something good that day, you don't know if you're gonna find like all junk, you never know. And sometimes it's like really fun to find like memorable pieces, or like, you know, say you went to a certain concert a couple years ago and you didn't get like the concert tee. You might find it at the Goodwill, you never know. Or there might be like, you know, a t-shirt or something that you like, or a retro piece or a vintage piece, and you'll find it at the Goodwill, but you won't necessarily find it at like a store because that's not what they sell. So I think this one is just more fun, but it's something to remember, and it's just a good reason to shop secondhand. So these are my 5 reasons why you should shop secondhand, and I think it's really easy to forget to do this, and I think it really gets a bad rep because people are like, oh well, that's gross, somebody else will wear that piece, or like, oh well, I feel like it looks bad on me if I buy something that's not new. And I think this is just something that we all need to just stop saying, because I don't see anything wrong with it. And like when I was in high school and I wanted to save money because I didn't have like a full-time job and I wasn't making a lot of money, I shopped at Plato's Closet, which is a secondhand clothing store. And this was before I really started going to thrift stores and Goodwills, and I would go to Plato's Closet and buy things, and they wouldn't necessarily be new with tags. Sometimes I would find something that was a new with tag item, but most of the time it wasn't. And I was okay with it because I was getting a really good deal, and a lot of the times the pieces were in really good condition, so like it didn't really bother me to buy them secondhand. And I knew I was saving a lot of money. I knew I was giving items a second life, and I knew I was slowing that consumption down, minimizing that waste. I knew I was finding pieces that maybe I wouldn't buy at like a store just because sometimes it was like, oh, I didn't know this kind of thing existed. Or I can try out pieces that like I wanted to try but I didn't want to pay full price for at the stores. And so I think it just, all these reasons combined, it just made sense for me to shop there. And as time went on, I continued to shop there, but they kind of closed the locations near me, so that's when I started going to like thrift stores and Goodwills to find new things. And don't get me wrong, I still do occasionally shop at stores, but I try to pick stores that like are good and sustainable, and that, you know, don't have a lot of waste going on, and don't have a lot of like issues. You know, there are a lot of stores out there that are not very sustainable and that are not very eco-friendly and stuff. So I try to pick places that are, but on occasion it's really nice to get something from a thrift store or just secondhand in general. And so I think this is something that we all need to remember, and I think it's important to remember because you know, there's no reason that it should have a bad rep, and I think it's important to spread the word and have people realize how it's really good for the economy, and I think this would help minimize the landfills, minimize that waste, and really make a big impact on the environment, because after all, we are the reason why the environment is the way that it is. I think that we should kind of have a movement to push for secondhand shopping. So let me know down below in the comments if you shop secondhand, or what your other reasons why you should shop secondhand are, or if you agree with any of these tips. I'd love to know down below. And make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss next week's video. But if you want to, check out the videos right here for more reselling content, all things reselling I do, and yeah, stick around for next week's video.